Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of December. I hope you're well. Using the Lost Forest deck for you today. I have started working on and uploading a 6-month overview of 2021. It runs from January to June, obviously, for each of the signs. If that is something that you're interested in, keep an eye on the link in the description box. It's to Vimeo, because they're all over there. And yeah, as I do them, I'll upload them. They should all be up within, the week. Certainly be up before the end of the year anyway. And I'll just leave them up for ages. So there's no rush to get hold of them. Now, this is actually the second time I started your video, because I got 1 minute and 21 seconds into it. And the first card that came out made me drop an F-bomb pretty hard. And just because it was very much of the nature of the sort of readings that have been coming out for Leo recently, and so I had to stop because YouTube doesn't like that sort of thing. I have to get at least 4 or 5 minutes into the video before I start doing that, otherwise they just strike me off. So let's go again. Could I have 3 cards for Leo's current energy, please? This is interesting. We have the Page of Cups, we have the 7 of Cups in reverse, and we have the Page of Skies, which is the Page of Swords. We've got the 7, another 7 at the bottom of the deck here, which is the 7 of Swords, followed by the Ace of Cups. An extraordinary reading. The first card that came out was the Hanged Man. That's where I F-bombed, right? And I F-bombed because the message of that card is passivity. It's about waiting. It's about being, held in a position of not really doing very much, actually, which is extremely frustrating for Leo sometimes. Except that, for some reason, we haven't really been that stressed about it. The Hanged Man is about achieving enlightenment, and this waiting for the sign kind of energy has been really, really strong for Leo for probably about 6 weeks, 2 months now. I'm sort of getting to the point where I'm a little bit like, how much longer? How much longer do we have to wait? There's things going on. I know, I'm waiting for the sign. I know it's not time to move yet, but, I'm being incredibly patient for a Leo, actually, and I imagine you lot are too. It's been quite surprising how patient it is. But we have these 2 pages, which are very, very interesting, because they're sort of coming at a message from different perspectives. So we have the Page of Cups, and in the Lost Forest deck, it's about deep diving down into the emotions. Right. But we also have the Page of Skies, which is this elevation of thought, often, and it seems like they go hand in hand, although they are at opposite ends of the spectrum. One is diving deep and one is elevating higher, and it seems like what it is that you're learning is deep within you, somewhere here. Now, the thing that's very interesting is the 7 of Cups, because that way up, have a look at that. Often when I see this card, I see people who are not trusting what is right in front of them, because there might be something with big gnarly teeth behind it. And it's often a card of illusion. And that's something that we can totally see from this here. But it's come out in the reverse, and it feels like you are seeing beyond the illusion of it. This is interesting, because this similar sort of vibe came out from the Gemini reading, actually. I've just done and exactly the same phrase came to mind with that, as is here, which is seeing beyond the veil. It's almost like activity doesn't need to occur at this point, because it's all in the perception. It's all in about how your feelings about things are changing, and how that is then feeding how you think about these things. Like there's some mental expansion going on here. It's huge. With that Page of Swords, things are starting to shift and things are starting to look slightly different to you, because you are connecting with that inside place that's feeding the way that you process everything. Now, the 7 of Cups in reverse, there is trust there. There's a trust and a process going on. But like I said, there's the removal of illusion. Like you see things that other people don't see, and maybe you've been seeing a lot of things that other people don't see recently, and that could be anything from ghosts, just full-on ghosts, to being able to perceive dynamics and situations. Shut this window now. Lincoln sense is burned. That other people are apparently not aware of. Now you're fucking psychic as fuck anyway, Leo. Like that's a thing with Leos, and you read group dynamics very, very well. But this seems a step beyond even your usual. Yeah. Like sometimes I know what people's intentions are before I've even like seen them, you know. It's very, very strong in us at the moment. So pay attention to what it is that you are seeing that other people don't, because I feel like this will be extremely important moving forwards. And trust it. That's the other thing. Really trust it. Tell me about the Seven of Cups, please. Give me a message for the Seven of Cups. We've got the Queen of Cups. Thank you. Yeah, like Leo. We've got the King and Queen of Cups here. Now these could be other people in your environment, but it really doesn't feel like it is. It feels like you are keeping your head whilst others around you seem to be losing theirs somewhat. And that's because they're working with this up here, right? And only there. You are so comfortable in your own emotions, so comfortable with what it is that you see and perceive going on around you, which is beyond the illusion. Nobody's going to rock you there. Nobody's going to push you off there. It's an incredibly solid presentation of your own emotional space that's turning up here. And so, you know, just as there was that reading, was it last month, where Leo and Aquarius were very clearly put to the side for some reason, like, and with Aquarius it was about information sifting and understanding of things. For an air sign, we would absolutely expect that to be the case, but for you, Leo, it's all about what's going on in here, right? And genuinely, because you are allowing your heart to feed your head, because everything is coming from the heart, it seems like your understanding of what is going on is so much better than anybody else's. Like I said, you need to apply it as it resonates with you, you know, because it could cover a whole number of situations. But the carry away from this current energy is that you are solid. You are absolutely solid. And if there's a point at which you feel like you may be losing your solidity a little bit, you going back down and having a look and checking things out here, extremely strong emotionally, right? Well, we know that about Leo anyway, but shit, you're reading. You don't trust what you see with your eyes and your ears, trust your heart only. You have been doing that, and it's been serving you very well. Got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck there. Like, it's teaching you things that other people don't see, and it's extremely important. Right, let's have a look for the lesson. We've got the lesson here. Fuck. Put my own candle out, how about that? The interesting thing is, like, the Wheel of Fortune is a card that I see as a lesson card anyway. So, you know, the fact that it was at the bottom of the deck there says a lot. Like, the lesson is there. The first card that's come out is the Queen of Cups. Check that out. And the Queen of Wands is at the bottom of the deck there too. Whew. What's the lesson for? Whoa, there you are, Leo. King of Wands. There was another card that ruffled off down there. Where has it gone? Down there, 'cause it's don't take from the right. Where is the lesson, please? Oh, Two of Wands. This is amazing. We've got the Five of Swords and the World card there. You've put an end to faulty modes of thinking. And it does feel like that here, very strongly. Like with this page here. Let's see how we've got these Right? Five of Swords is all about communication, but it's about disrupted communication, and often it seems to me like a card of internal mental conflict coming out with the world there. It's been put to bed, right? And it's like I'm saying, it's because it's coming from here, and you're allowing what is coming in here to then change the way that you think about things, and you are seeing the world very differently to other people, right? You've elevated above it altogether. But the lesson is really interesting because we've got the Queen of Cups and the King of Fire. Now, the Queen of Cups is that emotional place, right? And we think of emotions as emanating from the heart. And Leo rules the heart, right? Everything that you understand of the world needs to come through the heart first. You are heart first, King of Wands second. This is where the information comes in, and this is how you use that information. That's how you show up in the world. This is how you act. This is how you behave. This is what drives you, right? But it's all fed by this. And then we've got the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is crossroads energy. It's about hitting a crossroads and being like having decisions to make, having choices to make, working out which road you are going to walk down. And as a lesson, we could see it that the crossroads has been choosing which part of you you are going to allow to lead with. Because it's not the mind with you, Leo. And I'm not suggesting that any of you are dim or anything like that. It's far fucking from it. It's about where the source of your information comes in, right? And the brain as a secondary process to emotions and feelings and all that sort of thing, right? Because you rule the heart. It's all coming from there. Take the input in from there and then act like it. Act like a fucking King of Wands out in the world. That could be the crossroads, but it could be that the crossroads actually is coming up now. The need to be able to pick one road over another may well be coming forwards. Let's have a look and see if we can nail it down either way to which it is. Tell me about the Two of Wands, please. What's the Two of Wands here for Leo? What's the Two of Wands here for Leo? High Priestess. That's Pisces energy. It speaks about the internal. It speaks about the inner feminine wisdom that comes from sensing and perceiving through the heart, through the emotions, rather than through the head. You know, we could all do with dialing down the brain a little bit and dialing up the heart a little bit more. And you're doing it. Tell me about the Three of Wands. Right, it's coming up. And this is important because we've got the Three of Wands has come out now to clarify this. You are going to be reaching a crossroads, and being as this reading is for the last 2 weeks of December, we can assume that it's coming up fairly readily. There are decisions that you are going to need to make that are going to change the direction that you travel in. And it is absolutely essential that you use your intuition, you use that inner knowledge, that, you know, feminine wisdom, the sensing, the perceiving, the, you know, all that sort of thing, in order to move forwards, right? We've got that Three of Wands. It's coming up. It's how you act out in the world. And it could be that this is one of those situations where you don't really notice that you were at a crossroads until you're a little bit further down the road. You know, like a sliding doors kind of moment. You know, that film with Gwyneth Paltrow, who I can't stand, she annoys the crap out of me, but you know. Like you're about to start making decisions that are taking you on a different path now, Leo. And like I said, you could be halfway down that path before you realise that that's where it was. This was this critical moment where things shifted. But nevertheless, whether you perceive it or whether you don't, as long as you are paying attention to your emotions and you are following those and your intuition, right, I don't see you going far wrong at all, Leo. Not at all. Let's get you some advice. Can I have some advice for Leo? Thank you. What do we have here? We have the Chariot. Ooh. Love it. We have the world. Oh, if I can get it up, there it is. And one more card of advice for Leo, please. Judgment in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune has returned to the bottom of the deck. It feels to me a little... Ooh, just got a total goosebumps moment there. It feels to me... It's 3 major arcana as advice. This is a big deal. That there is something coming up before the end of the year, and it's kind of big. It's kind of big. It may not feel necessarily that big when it happens, but it's a turning point, and whether you perceive it or not, it's sending you off down on a different path. We've got the Chariot card here, and obviously I love that because the woman's on the back of a lion, but this is everything to do with the self. This is about trusting the self. This is about being determined and following a particular path. You know, I often talk about duality with this card here, but it's not appropriate because it's not actually depicted on this. We've got here one solitary kind of beast. Actually puts me in mind of something else. So I've been doing some chaos magic classes recently because they're a lot of fun, and the tutor was talking about how, you know, we're very used to seeing the description of the subconscious and the conscious as an iceberg sat in the water, right? And obviously, you know, what is underneath the water is given to be the subconscious, and what's on the top is, you know, the consciousness, and it's just a tiny little bit, and you've got this massive lump here, and it's kind of okay for a bit. But the issue with it is that it's not dynamic, and consciousness and subconsciousness, or non-consciousness, whatever you want to call it, they are dynamic processes. So a better depiction is, say, a little rider on top of a massive mammoth, right? The mammoth is your subconscious. The rider is your consciousness. You know, out of the two of them, which do you think is in control? And it's going to be the mammoth. You're not going to tell the mammoth to do something and then have it do it, because the mammoth doesn't speak in words for a start. It speaks in pictures, it speaks in symbolism, and it's got its own agenda, you know? Learning for those two things to be able to communicate with each other is actually quite a difficult process. But we've got a symbol of extreme power with the lion, which is you, Leo, but you are also the rider on the top, and she kind of looks like she's on board with that lion, right? They look like they're moving as one, and this is the important thing, because you are trusting yourself and you are going from this heart place now, right? You almost can't fail, Leo. That's how it feels. You almost can't fail with anything that you do at the moment. And if your energy's been a little bit low, I just heard with some of you, your energy's been a little bit low recently, you can expect that to start to pick up. Whether as a result of an event or whatever, but there's just a rising in your energy levels, which is going to help you drive forwards a little bit. But then we've got the world. Now this is important, right? This is a graduation for sure, and it talks about, you know, leveling up to the next layer of things, and I think that we're ready for that now. Right? We've been in a state of readiness for a little while, but never ceasing to learn, it seems, from what's going on here. We've kind of been learning patience, and that is not a Leo trait, and yet still we are exhibiting it. So we have this graduation. We have the pinnacle of not the pinnacle, like the completion of the cycle, ready to bounce off into something new. And it seems like in the new year it probably will be something quite new. But there's something a little more here. Because there's almost a sense of big fateful occurrences that you are not yet aware of, that will come into play. And maybe you've felt them moving a little bit, maybe you haven't, like I do sometimes. I'm like, got a feeling, just got a feeling, you know? It's that Deus Ex Machina kind of moment where some weird shit just aligns, and then you're like, oh, oh, that's interesting. You know, opportunities arise, or somebody just bows out of your life, and then it, you know, turns out that they're not a good one. You know, that kind of energy about it. But this world is an eclipse. Something is eclipsed. Something is hidden at this point, but it's coming in soon. And it's diverting you down a different path, because the final card of advice is the Judgment card. Right, we're beyond the Judgment card now. Notice that it's in reverse. Right, there's no going back, Leo. And I don't know what it is that you would want to go back to, but there is not a going back. You know, whether it's for who you were. Shit. Oh. Okay. So we had an eclipse, solar eclipse in Sagittarius this month. Is there not a new eclipse season starting? This is a culmination. Right, now I've always been banging on about this, you know, 2017 eclipse season in Leo that started, right, that saw everything taken away from Leo. This is the end of that period of time where you had lessons to learn. It's all change from here on out, Leo. So although we have felt like we have not been doing anything, pausing and waiting and, you know, all that, we have been doing stuff, and it's been probably very, very important for what comes next, because what for what? Not only are you not going to see it coming, but like the energy of that eclipse season is now coming to an end. The lessons have been learned. It's time to graduate. A much stronger version of you than you were before. And I'm talking pre-2017, actually. A lot of things will have changed. You will have lost almost everything, but what you have pulled back is so much more important, and it is so much more authentically you, Leo, because a lot of what was there before was not you. You are now able to shine in a way that you weren't before, because it is pure, authentic Leo sun energy. This is insane. You're not going back to how you were before. Like that part of you exists only in your head now, and there's no resurrection. There's no going back to it, and neither really should you want it, I don't think, because Sun card, the Leos that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to a few, have all suffered tremendous loss, not only of stuff and things and jobs and people, but fundamentally aspects of their identity as well. Like that's what they felt was ripped away from them, and that was the thing that really caused them the biggest grief, you know. But you rebuilt, and you built with the only tools that you had, which was you. There's 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. There was nothing else. All the words from other people over the years, you know, we went through those, we sifted those, we threw out what wasn't right for us. And what was left after all that was you. And that's where you've been putting your energy. That's what you've been concentrating on. That's what you have been building. That's what you have been empowering. And for year on year now, we've been doing the work. Now, if you'd told me in 2017 that I was going to have a head injury that was going to be entirely life-changing, and I would not be able to pursue the career that I was after, and I would lose, you know, my memory, I would lose the ability to dream, all of these things, I'd be like, fuck off. I don't want that. Like, no. Do you know what? Actually, there was a Leo I did a personal reading for the other day who put it beautifully, and she said it so beautifully. And Rosalinda, if you're listening, I'm talking to you, that I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget it. And she said, it feels to me like Leos have learned how to die, how to let themselves die. And oh my God, it's so profound. I'm actually, I'm just fucking goosebumps everywhere, and I'm feeling quite emotional. It's exactly right. Leo learned how to let themselves die so that they could be reborn. You know, the things that they held on to for so very long, and if you were anything like me, you fought it hard. Eventually you sacrificed it, and in the act of sacrificing, so much more came to you, so much more. And now I look on that entire life lesson as a tremendous gift. A tremendous gift. Well, I wouldn't be fucking here talking to you at this moment if I'd carried on the way that I was going, but I also wouldn't be content. I also wouldn't be patient. I also, you know, would not have had the time to sort out my issues. I wouldn't have had the time to face my internal demons, and there were many. I wouldn't be here talking to you, having had you do the same. Yeah, I see it as a gift, and it's over, Leo. We've graduated. We're completing. Life is going to be very, very different from here on out, because we are showing up properly now. Yeah, battle scarred, but wise. Yeah. And in touch with all the deepest parts of ourselves that inform every single action that we take. We know ourselves, we know who we are, we have integrity, we have authenticity, and we are guided by the most important part of us, the bit that didn't get a chance to speak when we were busy and chasing, you know, X, Y, and Z things that just weren't really very good for us. That's not the judgment card, please. Page of Wands. We're starting on a new path. Oh my shit, I'm here for this all day long, Leos. This is tremendous. I'm going to leave it there because it seems like the message is very, very clear. And it's really quite profound. I feel quite emotional off the back of it, to be honest. So know that I love you all so very, very, very much. And I will see you soon.